I pledge
Allegiance to the flag
flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, and justice for all.
So minutes, you got my couple edits, Debbie?
I did. I just opened it up before I came on here. So site SITE versus SIGHT. Got it. Yeah, just a few edits, but I guess we can't approve them with only three of us here, right?
Not officially, I don't think, but I don't think it would, I don't think you could do it officially, but if you guys want to make a motion, I don't think it would be a problem.
Yeah, I'm not sure anybody would really object, even if they watched the record. So, Andy, are you okay with the minutes?
Yeah, I was reading them now. I'm good. Motion to approve.
And I'll second.
Thank you.
They're adopted. Oh, Debbie, have you noticed, are they getting posted anywhere?
Yep, Brandon's been doing a good job after I take my time sending them to him. So yes, September's was posted already. They're under the documents header of the township website.
Oh, cool. And under board minute, I guess there's a section for board minutes.
There's a section for the meeting videos, but then under documents at the top, like the top menu, if you click on documents and then it says citizen boards is the first one on the menu going down. Then you click on citizen boards and then look for environmental advisory board, and then it's by year. So they're in there. So thank you, Brandon.
Mhm.
And do we happen to link from our website to that, maybe just to kind of mention, say, if you want to see minutes, they're located at?
From the website, there's a link, it says meeting minutes, and it takes you right to that documents menu.
Okay, cool.
And there's also a link to the meeting videos, which I didn't click on that, but it takes you right to the Environmental Advisory Board videos. Very, very good, Brandon.
Thank you.
Good work. Yeah, thanks, Brandon.
Yeah, of course, no problem.
Hey, Agam, welcome back. How are you?
Yeah, oh, I'm well, thanks. Hi, everyone. Sorry for being late. I just came back after picking up my daughter from practice, so.
Yeah, parents know how that goes.
Yeah, the day never ends.
Nonstop. Where are your guys tonight, Rick? Anybody in any clubs or anything?
Yeah, so interestingly, their swimming in Upper Dublin has started on a very restricted basis. So they're part of that group and they're practicing in the Upper Dublin natatorium. So I just came back from Upper Dublin, Fort Washington.
Are yours?
They don't swim here at the community center right across the street from your house?
No, I don't think they allow. I think they used to, but they don't allow it right now or something for PWAC.
Okay, there's two groups in here now. They were Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, or Wednesday, Friday, and I just found out they're going to add a Monday night. I don't know what group it is, but there's someone swimming here.
Okay, yeah. Well, we were part of PWAC, and then for some reason PWAC they pared their roster down. So I don't know. It seems like they couldn't make it, so we just went with another club. But we'll be very happy to come back to Plymouth Township because for me it just saves the commute.
Right.
So actually, since you're on board, Agam, can you give us a summary of the workshop presentation that you made?
Yeah, sure. So I just, I'll start by thanking everyone from the EAB for helping to the presentation over the last many months. And that includes comments during the EAB meeting, over email, on the phone, Andy and Bill and Debbie, Mike, both Mikes. So I thought the presentation went well. Hopefully it'll give our council a chance to digest the information. The outcome of that was that it's now with the solicitor to review and give a comment and give an opinion, which of course is completely understandable. Bill kicked off the presentation with a nice intro. He ended it. I thought the content itself was pretty good. Rick, if you have any thoughts as you listen to it, happy to get the feedback one way or the other.
I thought it was great. I mean, I think it made a lot of sense. Your presentation was great, and hopefully the solicitor can give a positive review on it. But yeah, I thought it made a lot of sense to me. I mean, I actually felt bad for people that would have to endure that in their own home or their own apartment or condominium or whatever. So no, I thought it was a really good presentation. It made a lot of sense.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks. And Debbie, thanks to you too. You had a nice email that you sent afterwards. So let's just wait and see. I think this is the process, and we might have to just welcome questions or concerns that anyone may have, maybe respond to them as they come up. Bill, you're of course familiar with the process, so just keep us honest with how things unfold.
Yep, and remember to be patient because the township has a lot on their plate. And when we presented the Ready for 100 resolution in June of 2018, it wasn't until February, March of 19 that we actually got it adopted. So it can sometimes take second priority to other activities. So don't get too discouraged.
Yeah, no, understood. I mean, I guess the one question I'd have is, should we just wait to hear now, or should we proactively, just inquire of our ward representatives if they have any questions, if they reviewed the memo and the presentation, and if they'd like to get any questions answered. So I guess I'll just leave that with the team here.
Yeah, we
I
could.
think,
Go ahead, Rick.
I was going to say, I think that they're going to probably want to hear what the solicitor has to say. You're talking about the council members.
Yeah, I'll represent. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think they'll probably wait to hear, what he has to say. They may have questions or comments or concerns. I don't know. I think they probably would have asked that night, but I think a lot has to do with the solicitors, comments.
Okay. Good. Well, good. Any sense with the timelines, Rick? Obviously, there's no, we just have to sit back and wait. But how does this normally play out in terms of timing? Is it weeks, months, or?
It'll definitely be months. Unfortunately, government moves really slow. There's always something that that comes up. I know I know that right now is budget time, so they're really concentrating on that. January will be like the reorganization meeting. They don't like to do too much that month because of the reorganization. So I would say that hopefully we'll hear something in February. If we don't, then maybe we can inquire what the standing is.
Okay.
I think it's definitely going to be months.
Okay. Thanks.
Sure.
Yep. Back to you, Bill. Thanks everyone.
Yeah, thanks for a great job. Well done, Agam.
Yeah.
Great presentation.
Agam, I just wanted to
ahead,
say,
Debbie.
like you did do a great job, and I had the same question. What is the timeline? Because I have very little patience, and I would have asked the same thing, like, what is the next step, and what can we do to facilitate it? But I think I hope that the council members would put themselves in your place or someone living in that kind of dwelling to really understand what the impact is. And I think that's why it resonates. Bill obviously did too, thinking, boy, I can picture myself living in that situation and how would I feel? So hopefully that, because you gave so many examples and things, hopefully that came across, and that's how they'll take a look at that personally, if it was them.
Well done. So second item, I just put a follow up on the curbside compost pickup. I didn't know whether we wanted to do anything further or leave it in Colleen's court to get back in touch with us. I can't remember if we made any comments on that last month.
So according to my notes that were in the minutes, there was just some questions or suggestions, I guess, that how could we partner with her? And she mentioned that the township building and or the community center would be a good location for collection sites, and that she would need like 3 stalls, 8 foot by 4 to 5 feet deep. It would need to be a closed off system, not open. And someone in the group suggested there's a Pico space at the East Valley Park near the power lines in the gravel parking lot area. And another idea was, I think Karen actually mentioned that there's a township sponsored community garden that they're talking about putting in at Harriet Wetherill Park. And perhaps it would go well with the composting next to that. So maybe Rick knows more about that plan than.
Yeah, I think the township building is probably pretty, congested right now with the police and the public works and trying to get in and out of there. I think East Pleasant Valley would be a good spot. I think Harriet Wetherill would be a great spot just because it's that natural type park. I haven't heard, that the community gardens was, probably maybe a year ago we were talking about that, and I haven't heard anything more about it. We talked to Conshohocken, and there was one other township that has them, and got an idea of the size of the plots and things like that, but never really materialized. So I don't know, but I think those 2 locations are probably better than the township building or the community center. The community center, right now with the pandemic, it's kind of slow here, but to try and get in and out of the parking lot and try and find some place with those size bins, I don't think it would be a good location here, but those other 2 I think would work or could work.
So what would it take to put a community garden there? Where would that fall? Would it fall under an EAB or a Parks and Rec, or where?
I think it was on the Parks and Rec. It has to be, there has to be bylaws. I think there has to be, there has to be like a by. In other words, there had to be somebody from the community gardens that would be willing to, administer, all the rules and be the, oversight. But the Parks and Rec, we're talking to other townships. They actually got a few bylaws and things like that. So I think it would be Parks and Rec that would probably initiate it, but I think they would like to have, the group itself monitor and run the community garden. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I guess it would start with Parks and Rec.
Okay, you answered it. I'm excited. I think that's a great idea. I think there's probably room for that there. I think that's a great idea.
So Rick, if Park and Recs, if that's just kind of like a project in their list of projects, there may not be a champion to kind of bring it forward in the next year or 2. So would it take a citizen involvement or a shade tree and board involvement to kind of see if they can bring it up in priority?
I think probably now, yes. The Parks and Rec department, they had some layoffs for the whole, during the whole COVID thing. So they're kind of, I don't want to say short-staffed, but, they are short-staffed. With the hours of the community center, they're working, they're working some weekends and stuff. So probably, I think the township would have to do it with an ordinance as far as what the rules are, what the plot sizes are. Especially rules. We heard a few, not horror stories, but somebody's growing corn next to the guy that's trying to grow peppers, and the corn, shades out his pepper. There has to be some kind of rule. So I think that would have to start with the township, but I think really getting it going could be EAB, could be citizens boards involvement. So yeah, I think the rules and regulations, I think that'll have to come from the township just so they're somewhat enforceable.
So Debbie, maybe we could just make a note in the minutes to maybe bring it up at a future meeting
Mhm.
and see if when we've got Carolyn and maybe Mike Van Buren, because they both have been doing composting, so they might have some interest in getting something going.
Okay.
And not a big ad, but yeah, I was thinking it was kind of under the zero waste forum that Mike was gonna head up.
That's a good connection.
I like the idea of, whether it's Parks or Rec or whoever, maybe we could also just kind of help support some way the community garden idea. I think it's a nice parallel as well for the EAB.
Mhm.
Encourage community purchase, and not having to ship produce from, far distances and so forth. So I think there's an environmental benefit in parallel there.
And Debbie, it could tie in with our tree planting that we did with, didn't we have some parks people show up for our tree planting?
Shade Tree Group, right, Rick?
Just Neil Clark was the only guy, I believe, that showed up for the last tree planting. But he is on the Parks and Rec board.
And so I'm wondering if we want to do a spring tree planting, we could do it with masks, couldn't we?
Yeah, let's hope we don't even need the mass in the spring. But yeah, we could.
Mhm.
So maybe it'd be an interesting tie-in if we got back together with the shade tree group and did a tree planting and then just talked about the idea of a community garden.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
like that.
and I'll talk to Mark. That was like Marty's. Marty came up with that idea. One of our councilmen. So I'll just see, like, I really haven't heard anything about it in a long time. So I don't know if it just died on the vine or if they're, just, I don't know what happened with it, but I could touch base with him and see, because we had Gary McEwen from Maple Acres Farms. He had agreed that he would till the ground up,
Wow.
so it got to that point, but then, really nothing. So I'll ask some questions and see where it's at.
Nice. Good,
Okay.
good,
Thank
good.
you.
good connection. So the next topic, the municipal building redesign, we did get council agreed to test out the geothermal. So they're bidding out for a well test. Do you know how that's going, Rick?
Yeah, I actually sent the request for quotes out. They're due on the 20th. We sent out to four drillers. One contacted me right away and said he will not be bidding the project. So we still have three. So yeah, they're due on the 20th. So we'll see. Hopefully three of them will submit. If not, then we have to go through a little process from council to say, to waive that 3 quote requirement. And that would just take another council meeting, but it is out and it's due on the 20th.
And just before I forget, to do the spring tree planting, when would we have to order trees?
Probably February.
So Debbie, if you don't mind just making a note of that, so we kind of, that way we'll put it in the notes.
Rick, when we did the tree planting last fall, you got a grant or something that you were able to get trees from the Philadelphia Horticulture Society. Would you be able to do it the same thing in the spring?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, it was. It's actually not a grant, but they discount the trees to municipalities, so it's a discounted price. But yeah, yes, they do a spring and a fall
Okay.
every year.
Hey, Mike Seif, sorry, I forgot to welcome you. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I opened the October meeting link and sat there for about 5 minutes, and I was like, maybe no one's here yet. So then I checked again and realized it was a different link. So sorry about that. So no, all's good here. Sorry I didn't call in last month. I can honestly just forgot about it. So yeah, oops on my part.
No, you're cool. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah. Of course.
So I guess, Rick, if the well didn't go well, then we were talking about water source heat pump, or at least the engineer recommended water source heat pump maybe is the next best choice.
Yeah, the next best green choice, yes. So yeah, that would, I guess, and again, that's all council's decision.
Yep.
But I think that's the ground source heat pump would be the most green, and then the water source heat pump would be the I guess second.
The next topic was the Pico Green Region grant, not approved. So we'd like to see if we can get in the queue for next year.
Yeah, I was basically told, there's a $1.8 million deficit next year, so we're not applying for any grants. So
Yep.
that was the answer I got. So I don't think we'll be able to apply for it next year. Sorry.
Oh, for next year. Oh.
Yeah, next year they're expecting a $1.8 million deficit because of the COVID. So there's not going to be any grants because we still have to match.
Oh. Deficit.
Oh, well, the bike trail will be put on hold. So then we did have a circuit trails, just because I was involved in the circuit trails, and we did do a lot of work with the cross county trail. We did have 2 meetups that we held via Zoom, and we now have 110 people that are interested in Montgomery County trails. So if there's further activity in Montgomery County to promote trails, there'll be a good connection. I guess, what's the latest you heard on the Trenton Bridge, the lime, what is it? The
Lime kiln?
sinkhole at the Trenton Cutoff Bridge?
I know they're working there. I haven't heard anything. I know it was like a utilities nightmare, but I know they are working, but I haven't heard it. I haven't heard anything about the progress.
Okay, then Ready for 100, the Clean Energy Transition Program, our Clean Energy Planning Program. We just finished our semester, I guess, today. So we had 15 sessions since the beginning of August. We're gonna take a 2-month break, December or November, or end of November, December, start again mid-January, and then go till the end of May to finish our energy transition plan. So we've got a bit of catch-up work to take all the work we did from this semester and put it into a draft document. So we've got some homework assignments here during our break.
Yeah, I was saying, I don't think we really have a break plan per se, right? We're it's just catching up to. It's been a great experience. There's so much information they're providing for us, which is really good. But it's a lot to take. It really is an information quantity, and I believe quality as well. College level, and I don't know if everybody signed up for exactly that. Not equal in the homework and everything, I guess. She hasn't been grading, but there's a lot of information, a lot to read and participate in there. So.
Yeah, I think originally when Paula designed it, they thought we could do this all by this time from beginning of August till now. And they realized, we've got so much, like Andy says, coming at us that we definitely need the spring semester to get the all of it assembled. because we'll still have more sessions to learn additional topics to add in. So, but it's great. It's a great collaborative effort. There's 28 municipalities represented. We had maybe over 36 people on the call today. We've had up to 48 on a call. So there's great participation and a lot of interest in collaborating as we go forward. So
How many townships did you say?
28 individual townships, and many of them did not pass the resolution yet. So they're starting off with their energy transition plan, maybe as a way to lead into the resolution.
Mhm.
But that shows that we've got a lot of interest in Southeast PA. I guess, Rick, we wanted to see if we could bring back that Pico My Account training. Do you feel like you have any capacity to get back?
Yeah, I think now that, you know, we're slowing down a little bit. I have all the information from Len. I just got to go on there and put one of our accounts in, and then she'll go in there and then she'll give us some dates for the training. So yes.
Oh, good.
I would say between now and the end of the year.
Oh, good. So,
What's that for, Bill? Is that for you need that as part of your planning?
well, it actually can be both. It'll help the township and Rick monitor their energy use across all of their accounts. So you've got this independent, or this piece of software called the Portfolio Manager, and it's more a generic way of ranking buildings all over the United States. And it's kind of more a global look at what's the energy profile of your facility. And it gives you kind of a dashboard and a ranking. But right now it's kind of got its own feed for electricity and inputs. And so what the Pico My Account would let us do is link the data, the live data with that portfolio manager. So then Rick can kind of seamlessly have this dashboard that he'll have the all his accounts, you know, electricity, and he can monitor it. And then he can also then be able to look at it through portfolio manager. So it's just kind of a nice, supposedly nice. I don't know how difficult it's going to be to manage these two pieces of software, but theoretically they've got a way to link them, and that's what the training would take, so we could get up to speed on how to do that. And I think you know, Rick, rather than put all the shoulder, you know, burden on the, you know, shoulders, if you're comfortable with it after you see it, you know, if there's a way you can ask for citizen volunteers who want to help you manage.
Yeah, there's you know, there's a way that you guys you won't be able to administer it, but you'll be able to view it and look at it. It has to be one township representative that will you know, be the administrator. But then there, you know, we could have you guys go on and look at it. You could track things, look at it, but you can't upload that or, you know, put anything on there. But the one thing I do want to say, I did talk to the girl, any unmetered accounts cannot go on. So the street lighting will not be able to be part of it. Just so you're aware of that.
So so is that true for every municipality, that streetlights are not account driven? Or
They're not metered. So like we have an unmetered account for like a sign light. They basically take, you know, what size fixture you're putting down there, how often it's going to run. You have to guarantee you have a photo cell on there, and then they guesstimate what your monthly bill is. That's the same situation with the streetlights, because there's streetlights all over. There's no meter. So you won't be, I mean, as much as Chris is changing those out, you know, as they go bad, you won't be able to, that account will not be able to be on that system, because there's no meter.
That's a shame.
Well, I just wanted to tell you, that was one thing that I was surprised, not surprised at. I understand why, but I just thought all of our accounts will be on there, and that's not the case.
Neat. Interesting. Yeah. Discouraging, but interesting.
Right.
To get clarity on the My account, would that enable the isolation of the township building? I know you guys have it billed separate, but the automatic population of portfolio manager, for some reason, wasn't doing that, wasn't isolating the township building.
I don't think we ever put the township building on there because we concentrated on the community center. I don't think we set up an account for the township building because we knew we were going to renovate it. So I don't know if that answers your question or not, if that's why it's not on there.
Well, it's on there. I think there's 14 or some accounts on there. It's just,
I mean, the address is 700 Belvoir Road for a lot of accounts, but we never set the township building up an Energy Star portfolio manager because we knew we were going to renovate it. So like all the pump stations, the bill goes to the township building, but it'll have a site location, it could be Fox Hunt Circle, East Plymouth Valley Park. The bill comes here, but it's 900 Germantown Pike. So I don't know if that answers your question, but township has quite a few accounts, but they're not all they just have that address on them.
all right. Thanks for explaining that. But to, I guess, get back to the original question, do we think in my account we will be able to? You do plan on setting up the township building? You do think we'll be able to specifically isolate it from the other accounts?
Oh yeah, the township building we will. That's a metered account. That could be, yeah, yep.
The other analysis that Andy and I had been doing for the municipal building was to look at future solar. And I guess I don't really have a good way to present this. I should have built a graph, but let me see if I can share. So the idea here was that if we could reduce the energy demand of the upgraded building, there would be a lot of benefits. So the cost of the upfront systems, I believe that it's demonstrated that you get improved comfort because you don't have as high a temperature swing because your building is better insulated. And then we would have a future solar system would be reduced because we wouldn't need as big a one. And that could offset more energy because it would be less system, faster payback, longer cost-free energy. So with the geothermal heat pump, I should have put the number of kilowatt. Oh, we're using just under 400, or the geothermal system is projected to use 470 kilowatt hours annually. And a solar array will just fit on the roof. The existing roof will just fit to cover that. And so if we don't get a grant, your payback is 15 years. And then you save $513,000 over the following 10 years. So this is just estimating a 25-year lifespan, but panels are typically lasting at least 30 to 35. They just gradually lose their efficiency over time. But, hopefully at some point in the future, grants will come back from municipalities. Right now, they don't qualify for the federal investment tax credit. So that's why it's very hard for municipalities to justify putting solar up. But there was a 50% grant, 3 or 4 years ago that we weren't prepared for because we didn't know it was a possibility. But if we got that, then the payback would only be 8 years. And then the township would save $843,000 of free electricity over the following 17 years because they wouldn't have to pay anything for that generation cost. So then we just thought, well, if you could design the building to use, that's the existing proposal. But now if you could design the building to be 50% less energy usage, put in higher insulation in the roof, better windows, better doors. Theoretically, there's a way to get the energy cost or energy demand reduced. So now we come down to only needing an array that's going to cost $335,000. Then we get $256,000 of avoided energy costs over the following 10 years. And if we got a 50% grant, then a year payback, and then we save 421,000. So by putting that together, you could then save $1.78 million because you would take the combination. Oh wait, Andy, is that, where am I getting this number from? Do you remember?
Not sure. No. I mean, that's up above. That's the 50-year life savings of 2A over 1A.
Oh, is this in comparison to 1A?
Over 50 years. Yeah.
All right, so since they've already chosen the geothermal system, they're going to get that $1.36 million savings because of that choice. And that'll help them pay for the $1 million extra, the drilling, right? And so I can't really say that.
No, I mean, the drilling cost, the upfront cost of the geothermal would have already been included in offset. So this is 1.362 over 50 years of total savings. Already factoring in the fact that you had to pay more for the system upfront.
All right, so really I should take that out, right? And just leave it at the solar comparison here. So down here, I should take out this. You think I should remove that?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a little hard to say. Maybe you do want to remove it only because you haven't factored in anything about what the cost of your energy efficiency improvements are to get you 50% less. So you kind of can't really speak to what that cost is and what that saves.
I could tell you that, as far as to design the building to, 50% less. I mean, the roof will have R30 plus insulation on it. The front doors will be replaced. But I don't think any insulation or windows are going to be part of the project. Right now they're trying to fit this project into a certain number, and to get the things they need, some of that stuff is just not going to be done. As bad as it may sound, it's just not. With everything going on, they've cut the project back almost 50%.
Okay, so we'd have to see for the life of the geothermal system, how much electricity cost will be used by the geothermal system over 50 years. And then take that cost savings of that energy. And then we only would, so that's probably what, yeah. So I need to I need to rework this.
Bill, there's probably going to be some large air handlers on the roof, just so you know. I mean, I don't know what square footage you're using, but there's to get the system that we want that'll work properly with using outside air and VVT boxes. There's going to have to be some air handlers on the roof. I think 3, but I'm not 100% sure. They're just too big to put down in the basement.
Yeah, what was that website, Enrel?
Yeah, nrel.pvwatts.
Oh, I know NREL. We did a project with them at work. They're a government organization, right?
Yeah. They're part of isn't that the National Energy Laboratory?
National Renewable Energy Laboratory, and it's part of the U.S. Department of Energy.
So here's your roof. So you do have some shaded spots here because these are raised surfaces, but the rest of it looks pretty flat. Is it pretty flat, Rick? Are all these surfaces flat?
So they are flat. And now remember that roof and the roof underneath of it is going to be taken off. It will be flat. There'll be some, they'll have to, use some insulation and some board to get water to run the roof drains. But for the most part, it'll be flat. So that roof there is the metal roof that's going to come off, and then underneath that, there's an old pitch and slag roof that'll come off down to the metal decking, and a new EPDM rubber roof will be put on. So yes, it'll be pretty flat. There will be some crickets in it to get the water to run to certain roof drains. It can't be dead flat, or else the water won't run.
So I guess you're right. You're trying to fit in a budget. So the cost of doing zero energy supposedly is some fraction of cost. So you'd have to do a little bit of extra cost design wise. But with that cost and that ability to make your building more efficient, your lifetime operating cost will be reduced to the extent that it'll more than pay back for that additional design cost up front and the extra installation cost. So let's say you are able to model that energy savings and financially justify it. You could say it is worth putting in better windows. It is worth putting in R50 or R60 in the roof rather than the conventional R38. So you might find that all those costs would be a fraction of the savings you're going to get by having less over the life of the system. That's where calculating the total energy cost savings. And so you get the feel for how that would work, Rick?
I understand. I totally understand what you're saying. I think that it's just not going to happen because of the budget. There's certain things that they have to have as far as office space for certain people. The geothermals, basically 25 to 30% of the total project. So in order to fit those other things in that they want, they're not going to be able to put new windows in. They're not going to be able to put new insulation in. Unfortunately, it's just not. It's not in the budget.
So part of green financing is that you can find lenders that will give you credit for the energy savings you're going to save. So let's say we were able to cut your energy bills in half for the next 50 years. And yes, that'll cost you, let's say, an extra $100,000 up front to do those extra insulation and windows. And
it's way more than that. It's probably a couple $1 million.
Just to create a more energy efficient building?
Well, to take, like, they talked about taking the stone off the building and putting insulation and wrapping the building. They talked about taking all the walls down and re-insulating. I mean, they're trying to say, like, so an existing office to rip that whole office out just to put insulation in the walls when the office is going to go right back to the way it was is not cost effective. So, they'll have an alternate maybe for new windows. But, as far as some of those, to re-drywall the building was 1.8 million. So that kind of stuff has to, they have to kind of try and keep things as they are, so they don't have to do that. Maybe somewhere down the road, if there are grants that we could consider solar, but a lot of that stuff's just not going to fit in the budget. They're trying to work to a number, and in order to get what they need for the different departments, some of that stuff, unfortunately, isn't going to be able to be done.
Yep, I got you. All right, so the other thing I wanted to show was this climate modeling tool. And so this is kind of a interesting simulator. So this could be useful when we do public outreach and education to kind of help them understand the challenges we have as a society on how we're going to keep our temperature under control or get it back under control. So right now, I guess this default scenario, and I don't know if this is I guess this is business as usual. So based on nothing changing, this is kind of the projected, maybe using, I'm sure there's better information here on where this data comes from, but let's say this is a projection of, based on business as usual, this would be likely increase in temperature. So 7.3 degrees Fahrenheit by 2100. So that's what, 80 more years. So, the goal at the beginning of everybody's idea was to keep it under 1.5 degrees centigrade. So I guess that would have been about a 3-point energy. So the simulator then lets you make decisions as to what choices would you make to bring the climate back under control. So we've got energy supply over here on the left column. We've got transportation in the middle. And then we've got land and industry emissions over on the right. And each of these drop downs has a little bit more, detailed control. So there's kind of like you can just do a very rough change here at this gross level using this slider bar. But then if you want to go into any one of them, you can click the options here and look at what other attributes you would then have access to, so you can get down into how you would drive the taxes, what kind of R&D would you do, storage, so you can see there's a lot of detail in each of these. But let's just take a gander. Who wants to make the first suggestion as to where would you suggest we make a change here to the business as usual? What would you want to change first?
To reduce coal.
So let's take coal down. So we want to watch our temperature over here and see what kind of change. So let's say we reduce our coal output. So you can see it starts to bring the temperature down. Already took off 1/10. There took off a 2/10. So this is highly taxing it. So this is putting carbon taxes on coal. So you can see now we put a very high tax on it. We've only reduced our temperature by 0.3 of a degree. Good start, Andy.
Well, if you still have to make up that energy though with something else, then don't you? What you took out.
Yes.
So then, if you substitute it back with renewables to get to, I guess I don't know what the total is. But if you, I don't know, if you cranked it up 50% or something like that.
So let's say we take the we take the tax that we earn from coal, we subsidize our renewables. So here's another degree or a tenth of a degree we save, 3.7. So we've just saved ourselves 4/10 of a degree by making those changes. Good start, guys. Any other ones you'd recommend?
Interesting.
Push nuclear. What does that do?
Oh yeah, I like nuclear energy.
Let's see if we can pull it up. Okay, so let's give it a little bit more money. All right, so we saved 1/10 of a degree. How about we reduce oil too? Let's see whether we can reduce oil. What's that going to do? Tax oil. So now we're getting a couple more, 3/10 of a degree. All right, good. All right, these are good changes. We've already saved ourselves 7/10, but we got to get down to 1.5. How are we gonna cut this in half?
Is land and industry emissions for methane on the right? Is that like from landfill gas, like from that kind of stuff? Would that be the source of that?
Let's see if we can reduce methane. So yeah, there's a good point, Mike, because we have natural gas that's producing methane, right? And we've got all the landfills that are producing methane. So if we can get methane under control, see, we saved what, 4/10 there, or 3/10? That was 3.1.
About electrification of transportation. What's that do?
That's what I was thinking.
All right,
There's
so
a lot of-
Those electric cars.
let's put more electric cars on the road. Good. All right, so now we're down to 2.8. Excellent.
Thought that
More
would've been-
energy efficient buildings.
Yeah, everybody talks about energy efficiency. That's what we were just debating there on the building, because if we put in better windows, better insulation.
Now put it on the other one, buildings and industry, energy efficiency.
Yeah, buildings and transportation are like a third each, right, of carbon emissions. How about we electrify our buildings? Okay, so we're starting to so we're down to 2.3. Now you can see that it's going to get harder and harder now that we've done the low hanging fruit. These seem like the obvious ones.
Yeah, we talked about planting trees over there, so afforestation.
Yep, let's go with some additional trees.
Some additional trees. That's the whole earth again, I think, Bill.
How about natural gas? Bumping
Yeah,
that down.
reduce that.
All right, good one. Good eye. All right, so we got to tax that baby. Look, that didn't really.
That wasn't as big of. I guess because we're down so low now, it's probably harder.
And also, you remember the natural gas doesn't have as much carbon output, but it's got a lot of methane output.
You also, yeah, I mean, you've accounted for it in the methane, highly reduced, and then you're already highly subsidizing renewables and everything. So it's kind of gonna have less of an impact once that's all done already.
It's better to burn the methane than let it go in the atmosphere as methane, because of the global warming potential charts. You've ever seen those things where CO2 is like a baseline of 1, and then methane is like a 30 compared to CO2. And then like nitrous oxides are like 300 or something like that.
I mean, the life expectancy though of methane is what, 17 years or something? Versus
Oh, is that what it is?
I think carbon is 70 or some years, but yeah, so there's different factors there.
So are we going to limit families to 2 kids?
I mean, it's a good job. It's good the Democrats are coming in for all these new taxes, I guess.
And population change really didn't save us much. We may got 1/10 out of that. How about economic growth?
Everybody's talking about that. You got to bump it up.
Well, the other idea maybe
They were talking about every commercial I saw was about economic growth.
No matter who wins, it's going to grow.
Right. Right.
You haven't touched technology over there.
All right,
Yeah,
so
see,
Carbon removal.
See, I have to think with like economic growth though, like economic growth here versus economic growth in China or India or something. It's going to be a lot easier to put the right technology in here than it is in the developing countries. You know what I mean? So I don't know. maybe in that drop down for economic growth, you can put different factors in for where what part of the world the growth is happening or something like that. Or
Okay,
maybe not.
here's GDP. It's got GDP in here. That looks like the only
Okay, only tunable in there.
well, the only tunable in there. You're right.
Interesting.
How about technological? Let's do carbon removal. Let's do carbon sequestration and removal. All right, so if we get some technological improvement there, we can now we can make some progress. Capture the carbon back. All right, that might be workable. And the only one we haven't touched is carbon pricing. Who wants
Technology.
who wants to put a tax on carbon?
So the engineer for the township building, he researched that, and he said that, I guess, the carbon tax that he saw, I don't know where he got it from, but it wasn't a lot. It was only like $400 a year. I don't know how they break that down, but it wasn't a huge tax right now. So I don't know if that helps you out as far as trying to figure out what the price is, but
Now, what kind of analysis was he doing, Rick? What was the occasion?
he looked into the carbon tax. When we had that Zoom meeting about the HVAC, someone brought up the carbon tax, so he researched it, and I guess the carbon tax for our building would have been like let's just say $450 for the year. There is no carbon tax right now, but the ones that he researched, he based it on, I guess, the amount of either the square footage of our building or the amount of size of our system. And it was, I think he said it was $450 per year. So I don't know how that breaks down. If you break it down per, tonnage of our system or square footage of our building, I don't know.
It could be based on the electrical usage per year. Maybe I'd be interested if you don't mind.
He didn't give me a formula, but I could try and find the email where he.
Yeah. I'd just be curious if he'd be willing to chat with us, just so we can kind of learn from each other. So okay. So while you guys were talking, I adjusted carbon price into the high range, and it made it very high, and it did get us down to our goal, 1.5 or 2.8 degrees.
When you pull up more information on that carbon price and see what it says there.
All right, so it does have some things. Okay, so it starts at 144 a ton. And I think some of those federal bills were only charging $60 a ton, Andy?
No, I mean, some of them started as low as $15 a ton.
Yeah, some of them started as low as 15. So this would be a really high price that we would have to put in. So let's just close this. If I put it back to a lower number, what was the number? So go back to, let's say, just a medium level.
Hey, Bill, unfortunately, I have a hard stop at 8. I have to drop off.
Sure.
Did you or the team have anything else for me, or?
No, I think Agam, we're in good shape, so we'll keep our ear on the
all right,
to hear what comes next. But yeah, keep you in touch.
all right, nice. So we'll see you all at the next meeting. Yeah.
Yep.
Bye, Agam. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Everyone, yep.
See
Enjoy
ya.
the Thanksgiving break.
You too.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Yeah.
See you soon. All right, so then you're right. This was a lower price of carbon. So when we moved it up into the high range, that's where we got up to the 142 a ton, 144, let's say. Yep, so it was the 144 that actually got us to 1.5, actually. Not even that high. Oh, there's 1.6, so it's somewhere around $120 a ton.
You can get rid of that
Yeah,
10-year
he said-
10-year roll in there at the bottom there too. Just make
Says
that
there's
0.
no,
Just make that 0 and just say it's from now and see how it looks. Does that change anything? Oh, you got to put at least 1 year in. Sorry.
so he said there's currently no carbon tax in the United States. However, Britain for example, has
Oh, I
a
didn't do
carbon
anything.
tax of $25 per short ton. And he calculated 19 short tons of CO2 per year, resulting in a cost of $475.
Wow. Yeah, I'd be interested. What's his role? What does he do? Rick?
The engineer, he's the mechanical engineer from Snyder Hoffman.
Oh, nice. Well, that's good feedback. All right, so we got to 1.5, but we are going to have to put in a price of carbon. So you can see how tough that's going to be. Because I hear that even Biden's climate plan, without a Senate, without the Senate on his side, it's very doubtful you'd ever get a carbon price put in. So if we don't get carbon pricing put in, we may never get to this, be able to do this, right? Because that seemed to be the last lever that we had to pull to get down to 1.5. Because I think when we were down to nothing, we're still at 1.9, right? There's not much else we could do. You guys, we aren't going to be able to reduce economic growth. We aren't going to be able to pull the population down. So let's go back to status quo. And now the carbon has to go up to there, which is, still 115.
Hey, Rick.
Yeah, what's interesting? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you can go ahead. I'll come in.
See, what's interesting about coal is that I just looked up a chart online, and I don't know how accurate this is, just from Google, that China and India use 100 exajoules of coal a year, and the United States only uses 10. So, and this is from 2019. So even if we got rid of it altogether, I mean, that's still a drop in the bucket compared to what the developing world has to chip in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so these would be worldwide levers. I mean, you're right. We can't do it ourselves. We'd have to have everybody in the world do this. But I think what this is kind of helpful for, I think this maybe puts it in a little bit more, what do you call it, taking action. If people see that they can actually trigger something to change something, even though this is a game, maybe that'll give them the incentive to go and lobby for it, or go get involved, or go, demand from their politicians. I know it's going to be a long battle, but I thought this was kind of, a good way to kind of help bring it back into practicality. So this could be a good educational tool as we reach out to our community to try to get buy-in to help. Because I think at some point, everybody's going to have to get involved, right? We can't keep ignoring this for too long.
Yeah, this is pretty neat. Could you send this out to the chain here?
I'll send you guys a link. I'll definitely send it back via email and share it with you guys. And if you come up with a different scenario, maybe we could share it again next month when Mike Van Buren's in. Cool. Yep. So I just want to introduce you to that. So I thought that was pretty helpful.
Rick, you said he calculated, was it 19 short tons?
19 tons. He didn't say short tons, but he said that Britain uses short tons. I don't know if it's the same thing. Ton, short ton. I don't know what that.
Yeah,
means.
he's in the U.S. He'll use a short ton.
Yeah. So I think he's calculating just based on the natural gas that the building would use with the option 1A there. I mean, I think you'd need to factor in your electrical use as well, and that's where it gets a little complicated with what is the assumed carbon production out of our whatever mix of electricity we have in this region.
Yeah, I don't know how he calculated. He just gave us that figure, 19 tons, and it was $475. I don't know if it was natural gas. I can ask him, but I think, without there being one in the United States, he's kind of just guessing, I think.
That's fine. I saw just that, we've been asking for the additional information on 1C and trying to get some other questions answered. We did the analysis of the other 5 options, the original 5, and did show that 2A, had a lifetime cost savings. But I haven't analyzed, Bill and I haven't analyzed or presented anything on the new option 1C. So, it's an unknown. We appreciate the council being in favor of the ground source heat pump, but just comment that I haven't presented personally anything, put together anything personally on the cost there, so I can't really speak to that.
Yeah, Rick, what's the difference between the 1C and the 2A that we received originally?
I'd have to pull them up because I'm not sure what exactly is in each one. What I will say is, Snyder Hoffman has, they're an engineer working for the township. They have put in, multiple ground source heat pumps. I think that they, I would trust their, analysis. I don't think that they're, I think they're, like I said, I went out and looked at 3 of their installations. Well, actually 2 of their installations and another engineering firm. And I feel very confident with their ability to design the system. I don't know. I'm not sure without the papers in front of me, I'm not sure what 1C and those are.
Yeah, and I think, we're trusting them also, but I think, it doesn't hurt to have another person questioning sometimes, just to say, where'd you get that number? And just, if it turns out to be, completely understandable, yeah, and we aren't trying to challenge that way. We're just trying to learn and be more effective at presenting another viewpoint, because, there could be ways to take the money savings and leverage them. I know it's a little bit more work, but so all I think we're trying to do is try to keep open to different strategies.
Yeah, Rick, I mean, we weren't at all redesigning the system or anything in our analysis. It was just a financial model using the numbers that Snyder Hoffman provided in their one chart, and then trying to make some assumptions, beyond whatever details they provided in that one chart that we had to go on. So I'm not challenging their technical expertise or anything. I just trying to reform the picture, the financial picture, to show the things that I think we're trying to look at the life cost of the system versus that the one chart shows a couple numbers, and people were just looking at the one number and saying, well, that option 1A is cheaper.
Yeah,
there are other
no,
factors.
and I'm not saying, listen, I appreciate all you guys do. You guys do a lot of work. I'm not saying that you were, questioning there. I'm just saying, I think that we have a good, I think if anybody can design a system, it sounds like council is going to go with the ground source heat pumps as long as, the test well works and all that. I'm just saying that I think that they've put in quite a few. And I think that, I trust, after seeing their installations at Bucks County Community College, I think that, I think they know what they're talking about, I guess, is a simple way of putting it.
Yeah, we agree. I think part of it is just having that full analysis so that we can also put it into our energy transition plan, just so we have a little bit more.
Sure.
data.
And I think the other thing we have to keep in mind too, these are just, they're kind of guesstimates on the bidding. They have a 3.1 million, 3.1 some odd million. So, I mean, and we don't know what that actually is going to come in at now. Some of that's electrical, some of that is mechanical, some of that is there's some plumbing in there with the piping and stuff. So I think that until it's bid out, nobody really knows what that number is going to be anyway.
Yep, right, right. Well, good. I guess one other topic Andy did raise is, do we know what the deadline is for the spring newsletter?
I don't, because the girl who used to do the spring newsletter no longer works here, so I don't know. I'll have to ask.
Because we were thinking, Andy, that we might want to get a couple articles into that.
Sure. I'll find out for you. I don't even know who's doing it, to be honest with you, but I'll find out.
Any topics that you guys think we want to share?
I mean, I would see what, I know, I don't know what people want to share on the energy transition plan, but we can talk about working it, could we not?
Oh, yeah.
Or-
That's a good, give an update on where we are with the energy transition plan, because that'll be a good, hopefully we'll have some good progress. Usually the deadline was what, January for spring release?
Probably, I would say probably the end of January or maybe mid-January. I think it comes out in March. So I would say that's probably a safe bet, but I'll find out the dates for you.
And then Debbie, did we want to do anything next year with Lanternfly? Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Sorry. Yeah, I'd like to. I think that's a good idea that we have something, presentation that we can advertise, I guess, or put it on our Facebook page as well as our newsletter, and always have more information for people. I think there's testing that they've been doing. Penn State has been testing in the Norristown Park. So I think they probably have results from some of that they could share with the community that would be good to know.
Yeah, we just went to a seminar up at the 4-H Center, and there was a guy that spoke there. I'll get his information, see if he's interested. He had a lot of good information about they're starting to label some pesticides for lanternfly, and so I'll see if I can get him, see what his spring schedule looks like, see if we can get him to do it. I just don't know. It's going to be hard to try and figure, like they're not doing anything here at the community center as far as room rent. It might, who knows if it had to be virtual. I don't know, but at least I can get his schedule.
Was his name Brandon by any chance?
You know what? I'd have to get the information. That sounds familiar, but that also could be because Brandon's on this call. I don't.
Yeah. I just remember the name because I'm like, oh, it's the same Brandon, but it wasn't. But the guy's name was Brandon, and he's a
I'll get the
gardener.
Yeah, it might that might have been him. I will get the information that we took back from there, and I'll see his stuff's in there. I'll let you know.
Good, that'd be great.
Any items, Rick, that you want to share on what's going on for your projects?
I mean, we're getting close to. I mean, the only project I really have going on right now is the East Plymouth Valley concession stand renovation, and that's not a big job. It's proceeding nicely. I mean, hopefully they'll be done by mid-December, and we're trying to work towards this. Trying to figure out this township building renovation. And again, I just want, I don't want you guys to think that I'm just trying to be honest and upfront with you about what's happening with the budget and what they're trying to fit in this building. That's not to say that down the road there won't be projects like solar or redoing the windows, but they can't fit everything into this budget. Council pretty much gave the architect a number to work towards, and just the HVAC, electrical upgrades, plumbing, and roof are like $8 million. And that's nothing else as far as office space, carpets, painting, LED lighting throughout, new ceilings. So it's hard to fit everything into that budget. And we're actually right now we're still over a little bit, but I think that, in the future, there will be some opportunities for projects as far as replacing the windows. I don't think we'll ever get a chance to put insulation in the walls because we're not taking the walls down. but there might be some, opportunities for maybe solar if there are some grants available. So to answer your question, that's kind of like right now, that's kind of like on the hot seat, that project, trying to get it together so we can put it out to bid. That's really what a lot of my time is being spent on now.
Yeah, no, appreciate it. Good work, good work. And the fact that you had a chance to visit the 2 geothermals and got a good impression, that was helpful.
Yeah, that was because the first one I went to go visit, to be honest with you, I wouldn't want to wish that on my worst enemy, because the guy's pulling his hair out there trying to figure out, how to keep, certain places cool and certain places, and they have a humidity issue and on and on and on. But the 2 at the Bucks County Community College were the HVAC guy there had nothing but good things to say about it.
And actually with those kind of lessons behind, from people knowing about the bad ones, it just helps your engineer be even more effective, because he knows
Right.
to make those mistakes.
Right. Yep.
Well, excellent.
So does that pump that circulates the ground and back, does that run 24/7, or is that just on and off like your regular AC fan would be?
It's got VFDs on it, so I guess it does run
spins down.
24/7, but it does slow down when it needs to.
Okay, interesting. I would think that's the first thing that's going to break in that is that
Well,
that water
here-
pump.
yeah. Well, here's the other thing, and this is just for me because I do this. So these things, these are chillers. So those compressors are going to run all the time, not just in the summer when it's warm out and they need to produce air conditioning. Those compressors are going to run to take the heat off them. So when a compressor is running all the time, on and off, it's not going to last 5 years like a normal compressor. It's probably going to last 2 years. So one of the things with this system, and you're right, Mike, those pumps are running 24/7. You have shot feeders, you have chemistry in the water. You have a lot of things that potentially could break. And for example, our pool packs, they're dehumidification systems, so the compressors run all year round.
Oh.
Well, we've already replaced the pool packs are 6 years old. We've already replaced all the compressors and all the stages at least once, and now we're on the second one on one of the stages. But the problem is the compressors, you have to climb inside the unit that's on the roof, work inside a confined space to cut that compressor out, lift a 300 or 200 pound compressor up on the roof, get it up into that unit, like all that stuff. It's literally, I have a quote, $11,000 to replace one compressor on the pool pack at the community center. So that's all the stuff that we got to figure on too. So if they're in good locations that are easy to work on and easy to get to, that makes a lot of difference. So anyway, there's a lot of things.
How many compressors do you have on the community center roof?
Each of the rooftop units some have 2, most of them have 2. The pool pack has 4. So there's probably 30 compressors on that roof at least.
Wow. Okay.
At the community center. But the HVAC systems, those compressors are only running in the summertime when they're calling for air conditioning.
Right.
And how many do you imagine will be on the new building?
So I'm hoping that so the Bucks County Community College was 170,000 square feet, and I think they had 8 compressors on that unit. I'm hoping our unit will only have 4 compressors on it, the chiller. I don't think they'll have, I don't think they'll have to have any compressors in the air handler. So I'm hoping 4.
And how many compressors? Do you have any compressors on the roof now on the Muni?
No, they're all individual water source heat pumps. But there's another example. It's cheaper to buy a new water source heat pump than it is to replace the compressor on them because they're up in the roof.
And there's no rebuild; it's just replace.
Replace because it's just as easy to drop that whole unit, which is the size of like I don't know, let's say like a small copier. It's like maybe maybe 4 foot long and 2 foot high, a square box. It's easier to drop that whole thing than try and get up there and work in that area.
Okay.
Compressor out and brazen a new compressor. And so the units are like $2,400 each, and it's probably, $5,000 to replace the compressor with labor.
Oh, okay. Because then you don't have to pull a vacuum and get all the air out, all the moisture out of it and all that. It's
Right.
all
And then-
packaged
and then
like that.
fill it with nitrogen, make sure you
Yeah,
don't have
yeah.
any leaks. And then,
Okay. Okay.
and it's all up in the ceiling. And some of them are over people's desks. Some of them are places where you can't really get to. So that's another problem with that type of system.
And have you had compressors go out at the community center, Rick, that caused your comfort to be like you not to be able to control your comfort? Did you get some failures?
Not recently, because all that equipment's new, and the pool pack has 4 stages on it. So, very rarely are all 4 stages. If it's 100 degrees with 80% humidity, all 4 stages will be running. But the stuff at the community center is all within 2 years old. So we haven't had any. But before that, sure, if a compressor goes in the summertime, just like at your house, if your outside unit, goes, you're going to know. But we haven't, all the stuff now on the roof of the community center is new. And the pool pack has 4 separate stages. So, unless it's a really, hot, humid day, you won't really feel it. And the pool's 80 something degrees anyway. So it's not like, it's not that noticeable.
Well, good work you're doing. How you going to be around for a while? You aren't going to retire anytime soon, are you?
I can't. I got an 11-year-old son, so I'm not retired for a while.
How long you been with the township?
I'm in my 27th year.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
How many
I know. I can't believe it.
How many
Also-
other employees have that age or have that length of time?
So there's a lot, believe it or not. There's going to be there's some that have been here longer than me. There's going to be a group that's going to retire soon. They're all like 60, 62, 63, 64. There's a mechanic that's been here for 36 years. There's the Karen Frank that runs the community center. She's been here for over 30, maybe 32, 33.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few around my, number, and there's a few longer than me, and there's, more that are less than me.
Wow, well, good service. You keep our township running, man.
Yeah.
I try. Yeah, we try. We try. But thanks for that. I appreciate it. It's nice of you to say that, and hopefully, someday I will get to retire. I hope.
Yeah, we hope.
We all say
Everybody
that,
does,
right?
Yeah, we all say that, right? I can only imagine what college is going to call. I mean, I have a 17-year-old that's applying now, so I kind of know what that's going to cost me, but I don't know what the 11-year-old is going to cost me when it's time for him.
Mhm.
Well, at least you'll get the 17-year-old through before you get the 11-year-old in.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. I'll have a little break.
Good.
Mike, you better start saving, because I know you got a couple still in diapers, don't you?
Oh yeah, I don't even want to talk about it. It's gonna be ugly. Gotta start selling organs or something to afford it.
Right.
Yeah.
Rick, tell the 17-year-old that she needs to pay for the 11-year-old's college. That's payback they know.
Yeah. Well, if that would work, my 17-year-old, he's very smart. And I anticipate that he's not going to be done in 4 years. He's going to want to go and do something else. So I told him I may have enough for the first 4 years. I'm not sure yet, but after that, it's all on you. So he may be paying for his and his brothers.
Where's he want to go?
So he's going to apply to University of Delaware.
That's where I
Temple.
went. Yay!
Is it? Oh yeah, good. Yeah, he that's his number one choice. We went and visited that, and he really fell in love with that. So Delaware, University of Penn, Muhlenberg. I'm making him apply to Temple. and he's going to apply to a college called Drew in Jersey. I haven't heard of Drew, but
Yeah, that's right near where my wife is from.
oh, is it? Okay, yeah. So he's going to apply there. So we went and visited Johns Hopkins. That was that's where he really wanted to go. So we went and visited, and did the tour. Beautiful place. Everybody's smarter than the next person. It's very intimidating that way. But then I went online. I looked at $76,000 a year,
God.
and I said,
Oh my
scratch
God.
that off your list.
They didn't tell you that on the tour, did they?
No, not at all.
Wow.
$76,000 a year. I didn't even comprehend. Like, I didn't even know colleges got that expensive. I thought 50.
That's
Mm,
insane.
great.
Crazy.
That is crazy.
But yeah, so is that your alma mater, Bill? University of Delaware?
University of Delaware, yeah, Blue Hens, yeah, that's where I went. Computer
He really liked that, so I'm hoping he gets in there. I think he will, and that's probably where he'll pick.
Nice. Yeah, it's a good school. I loved it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're just chit chatting. We're keeping Brandon at the office.
Yeah, sorry, Brandon. He's got a
No,
45-minute
it's
ride.
totally fine.
And
Right.
so our next get together will be December 15th. So it's earlier in the month, which is good. We'll get that out of the way before Christmas. So I guess we'll send a request to Karen and see whether Brandon or Len is available for the next time.
Okay.
Hey, Bill, you have on your agenda a topic for next meeting is the composting. Is that an elaboration of what we talked about tonight, or specifically you wanted to talk with Colleen from last month?
No, yeah, I think it was just really for us to just kind of remember whether we had planned to do anything further. So
Okay.
I'll probably drop that into old business on the next agenda. And if Carolyn, shows up, maybe we can ask her if, or we talked about that possibility of having that meeting in the spring with the shade tree and talk about the community garden.
Okay.
So we could bring it up again in the spring.
Okay. Just so I know what to put with the notes. Okay.
Yep. Great. Thanks. Well, Andy, Mike, Brandon, Rick, Debbie, thanks for hanging out, and
Of course.
have a great Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Happy
Guys,
Guys,
well,
too.
Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Yep. See you next month.
Rick, thanks for sending over those pictures from the.
Thank you. And just so you know, Brandon beat me to the punch. He had asked Joanna to like the Facebook page before I got to her. So I think he did that too.
So good, good. So we're getting a little bit of traction, I see, from the last time. And tonight's meeting was on the Facebook page.
Oh, good.
So we're gonna keep adding some material to that.
Nice. Create increase our presence.
A little bit, baby
Excellent.
steps.
Yep. We're getting there. All right. Well, good to see everyone. Have a great night.
Yep.
Guys.
Take care.
We're
Talk to you
adjourned.
guys.
Everybody.
Yep.
Oh, we're adjourned. That's right. We have a motion and a second.
Motion.
Andy and Debbie. All right. See y'all. Have a good night.